The arena was huge. Thousands of aliens filled the seats. They shouted, cheered, and banged drums. This was no normal day, was a champion's fight. And today, their strongest warrior was going to fight. A human dot, the alien champion stood tall, nearly 10 feet in height. His body was covered in black armor, glowing with red lights. His skin was dark blue, with thick muscles and sharp claws. His name was Krelthax, and he had never lost a battle. At the other end of the arena stood a Mana human soldier. He wore no special armor, just a simple combat suit. His face was calm. His name was Commander Riker. The alien queen sat high on her golden throne, surrounded by her royal maids. She looked proud. Her champion had won over 300 fights. She believed. This would be easy, just one more human to crush. A loud voice echoed across the arena. This is the ancient law of trial by combat. If the queen's champion loses, her body, her throne, and her maids belong to the victor. The crowd laughed. No one believed a human could win. The queen smiled coldly. Begin? The ground shook as Krelthax ran forward. His heavy axe glowed with fire. He roared like a beast. The crowd cheered louder. Riker didn't move. At the last second, he dodged, quick. Clean Krelthax's axe hit the ground and made a deep crack. The queen leaned forward. Her smile faded a little. Krelthax turned and attacked again this time. Faster, but Riker was faster. He rolled, jumped, then pulled something from his side. It was a short blade, very plain, very simple. But then, flash. In one move, Riker dashed forward and cut Krelthax in half. The crowd went silent. Krelthax's body dropped to the ground, split cleanly down the middle. For 10 long seconds, no one moved, no one made a sound. The queen stood up in shock. Her golden cup fell from her hand. One of her maids whispered, "Is he dead?" Another answered, "Split in half." The law echoed in her mind. If the queen's champion loses, she and her maids belong to the winner. She looked down at the human in horror. Riker slowly walked forward. He didn't raise his weapon. He didn't act like a killer. He simply removed his helmet. His face was clean, calm, focused. He looked up at the queen and spoke clearly. "So, do I get a throne too?" Gasps filled the arena. Some aliens stood up. Others began to argue. The law was ancient, clear, unbreakable. A royal advisor stepped beside the queen and whispered, "Your Majesty, the law is the law." She didn't reply. She stared at the human, confused and angry. How could such a small, soft-looking creature defeat her greatest warrior? Riker looked around at the confused crowd. "I didn't come to take slaves," he said. "I came to end this war." Silence again. Then, slowly, one of the royal maids walked toward him. Her face was not afraid. Oh, she looked curious. "You are?" "The new master now," she said quietly. "What will you do with us?" Riker looked at her, then looked at the queen. He gave a small smile. "Let's start with a talk." The queen's fists clenched. But she knew this human had not just won the fight. He had won her, and worse. Other queens were watching, far above, in a distant part of the galaxy. Other royal families were already receiving the news. A human has claimed a queen. The throne room was silent. The queen stood still in her golden dress, her hands shaking. She had ruled for over 90 cycles. She had commanded fleets, destroyed rebel stars, and walked through fire. But now she stood as a prize. Not a ruler, but a reward. Commander Riker, the human who had just killed her champion, stood in front of her, calm, quiet. His eyes held no fear. "The law is clear," said her advisor. His voice was soft, almost nervous. The champion is dead. You are his. Now, the queen turned sharply. I am no one's property. But she knew the truth. Ancient law had protected their royal bloodlines for centuries. The one who defeats the royal champion in public combat gains all rights, land, riches, and even the queen. She remembered the old words, carved in the throne room walls. The one who takes the blood of the strongest takes all. The people had seen it. The cameras had recorded it. The law had been triggered. And worse, she had not prepared for this. Because no one believed a human could win. Riker looked around the throne room. The place was full of glowing walls, floating lights, and alien tech, but it still felt like a cage. He spoke quietly. I didn't ask for this. The queen stared at him. Then give it up. Riker didn't answer. Instead, he turned to the maids who stood nearby. Most looked confused, some afraid. One of them, tall and silver-skinned, stepped forward. Her name was Sari. You killed the champion, she said. By law, you are the new master of the palace. The queen's fate belongs to you. Riker shook his head. I don't want her fate. I want peace. The queen scoffed. Then you are a fool. Sari looked at her queen, then back at Riker. Peace is not our way. We are raised to conquer, to own, to rule. Riker sat down on the steps of the throne. He didn't care about royal traditions. Maybe that's why you keep losing to humans. That sentence hit hard. The queen's eyes narrowed. You think you've won something here? Riker looked up. Didn't I? She walked down one step. Her voice was colder now. You may hold the title, but you are not my king. Riker stood. Good. I'm not here to be anyone's king. But I am here to change the rules. Behind them, whispers grew louder. The guards were watching. The maids were watching. Across the stars, people were watching. And not everyone was happy. Meanwhile, far away, in a palace orbiting a dying sun, another queen watched the footage of Riker's fight. Her skin was golden, her eyes like glowing coal. She was older, stronger, and far more dangerous. This was Empress Sura, ruler of 3 star systems. She sipped dark wine from a crystal cup and smiled. A human took Queen Vale. She said, "How delightful." Advisor frowned. Do you find this funny, Empress? She nodded slowly. Because now I know he's real. The advisor stepped back. What shall we do? Sora's smile turned cold. We stop him, before others start bending the law to human hands. Back in the throne room, ... Riker stood alone for a moment. The queen had walked away, vanishing. Behind the glowing curtains, one of the younger maids, quiet until now, came closer. Her name was Leary. She was not a warrior. She had never seen war. But her eyes were wide with questions. Are you going to keep us? She asked softly. Riker looked at her, surprised. What do you mean? You beat the champion, she said. That makes you master? He looked away, tired. I didn't come here for slaves. Leary looked confused. Then why did you fight? Riker didn't answer at first. Then he said, because humans always fight, but we also build. We protect. We rise. The queen returned, but this time she wasn't angry. She looked at him carefully. Measuring him, I will follow the law, she said, but I will never follow you. Riker nodded. That's fine. Just walk beside me instead. That reply caught her off guard. In all her years of ruling, no male had ever spoken to her like that, not as a ruler, not as a servant, but as an equal. She didn't say another word. She walked past him, but didn't go far. She stayed close. Later that night, far above the palace, hidden in the shadows of a moon, a dark ship came into view. Inside it, silent assassins prepared their blades. Their mission was clear: kill the human, destroy the law, burn the queen if you must. They would strike before dawn, and the war would begin again. The palace was alive with whispers. Its walls were made of glowing stone that pulsed like a heartbeat. Floating lights moved slowly through the air, casting soft shadows across silver floors. Every corner of the building felt like it was watching. "Commander?" Riker walked through it in silence. 2 royal maids followed behind him. One was Sari, the Queen's trusted aide. The other was Leary, the youngest maid, still full of curiosity. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. Everyone in the palace knew what had happened in the arena. The Queen had been claimed. Riker's boots echoed as he walked past statues of alien kings and queens. Each one had ruled for centuries. Each one had taken planets, crushed enemies, and rewritten history. And now, a human soldier had stepped into their world. He was shown to a private room, soft-lit and larger than any home on Earth. A floating bed hovered in the center. Strange symbols danced across the ceiling. Food appeared on a silver plate, without anyone touching it. But Riker didn't sit. He looked out the window instead. The alien city below the palace was quiet. No celebrations, no riots, just silence. Even the people didn't know how to react. Sari finally spoke. "You've made history, Commander." Riker didn't turn around. "I didn't come to be history. I came to end a war." She stepped closer. "Then you picked the wrong palace." Far below, deep in the heart of the palace, the Queen stood in her private chamber. She was alone, staring at a painting of her ancestors, tall, proud aliens with fire in their eyes. They had won their thrones with blood and force. But none had ever bowed to another dot, and now, by law, she belonged to a human. She whispered to herself, "What are you, Earthman?" Her hand touched the wall. It opened like a flower, revealing a hidden room behind it. Inside was something very old. A weapon, small, simple, forgotten by most, but still deadly. She stared at it, thinking. Meanwhile, Riker walked with Sari and Leary through the palace library. The shelves floated. The books glowed. Knowledge from over 40 star systems was stored here. "Your people have a lot of history," Riker said. Sari nodded. "We write everything, even lies." Leary giggled softly, then turned serious. "Do you believe in the law? It's the one that made you our master." Riker paused. "I believe in truth," he said. "And the truth is, I didn't come here to take queens or palaces. I came here to stop the killing." He looked at the glowing walls. "Your people attacked our outposts, our trade routes, even our farms." Leary looked down. "We thought humans were weak." Riker smiled faintly. "We are, until we're not." Suddenly, the palace lights dimmed. The air grew cold. Sari's eyes widened. "Shields are down." Riker's hand moved to his side. No weapon, just his fists. A guard ran in, breathless. "Assassins, they've entered the Sky Tower." Riker didn't hesitate. "Take me there." The Sky Tower was the highest point of the palace. It floated above the city, held by anti-gravity fields. When Riker arrived, 3 bodies were already on the floor guards, their armor torn open. The air smelled like burning metal. From the shadows stepped Atoa Sessin, fast, deadly. Their bodies were covered in dark cloaks. Their hands held curved blades that shimmered like glass. They didn't speak. They attacked. Riker ducked the first strike, grabbed the assassin's arm, twisted, broke it. The other one leapt from behind. Riker rolled forward, grabbed a fallen guard's weapon, a spear. He spun and struck, fast and hard. The assassin fell. One was still alive, crawling away. Riker pressed a boot to his back. "Who sent you?" The assassin hissed. "The Empress." Of stars, Riker's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "To erase you. To erase the shame." He raised his blade again, ready to finish the job. But Sari stepped forward. "Wait." She looked at the assassin. He said, "Empress, not Queen. That means this is bigger than us." Riker slowly lowered his foot. The assassin passed out. From pain. Later, Riker sat in the throne room again. The Queen entered dressed not in gold, but in plain black. Her eyes were sharp now, focused. "You survived," she said. Riker looked up. "Someone doesn't like the law." She nodded. "That law was made long before either of us were born. I never thought it would be used against me." He stood. "But you accept it." She stepped closer. "I accept that something bigger is happening, and I don't want to face it alone." Riker looked at her. For the first time, she wasn't just a queen. She was real. She reached into her sleeve and handed him a crystal key. "There is a weapon buried beneath this palace. My ancestors built it in secret in case of war." Riker held the key carefully. "Use it," she said. "If they come again." Riker nodded slowly. "They will, far away." In the Empress's warship, thousands of soldiers stood ready. Ships powered up. Weapons locked. The Empress stared at the screen. One human changed everything. She raised her hand. "Now, we change." It back. The palace slept under a quiet sky. Stars glowed above the high towers. The city below was dark. No ships moved. No music played. Just stillness. But something was wrong. Commander Riker opened his eyes. He wasn't sure why he had woken up. No sound. No movement. Just a strange feeling, like a chill crawling across his skin. He sat up in bed and listened. Silence then, faintly. A soft click. He reached under the bed and pulled out a weapon, one of the guard's pulse pistols. He moved slowly to the door, barefoot, every step careful. In the hallway, the lights were dimmed for the night cycle. Long shadows stretched across the silver floors. He stepped out and saw a body. A royal guard lay face down, blood slowly spreading beneath him. His armor had been sliced cleanly, no burn marks, no gunfire. A blade. Riker moved fast now. He passed another body, then another. 3 guards, all dead. He wasn't being hunted. The Queen was not in the Queen's chamber. The air was cold. Her breath left tiny clouds as she exhaled. She stood at the window, unable to sleep. Something in her chest felt heavy. A warning, her hand hovered near the emergency panel hidden in the wall. She had ruled too, longed to ignore instincts. Suddenly, silence broke. A flash of black moved across the room. She turned just in time. A blade cut through the air, narrowly missing. Her neck, she ducked, rolled, and hit the alarm. Warning, intruder alert. Level red, the sound filled the palace. Guards awoke. Lights flared on, but the assassin didn't. Stop. He moved like wind. Fast. Silent. A shadow in the dark. The Queen wasn't trained to fight, but she was fast, smart. She threw a chair, a table, anything to slow him down. Just before he reached her again, Riker burst into the room. The assassin spun to face him. Riker didn't speak. He shot once. The assassin rolled, voiding the blast. They moved fast, clashing in the center of the Queen's chamber. Blade versus pulse gun. The assassin slashed. Riker blocked with his arm guard, then elbowed him in the throat. The assassin gasped, but didn't fall. He jumped back and vanished. Into smoke. Literally, a smoke bomb filled the room, thick and black. The Queen coughed. Riker grabbed her arm. Stay close. They ran through the side door and down a private hall. Guards met them halfway. "He's still inside," one said. "Possibly more." Riker nodded. "Lock the lower levels. Full shield." As the guards secured the palace, the Queen leaned against a wall, breathing hard. "You followed the feeling," she said. Riker looked at her. "I trust my instincts." She looked down. "You saved me." He didn't smile. "They'll try again." She nodded slowly. "I know." Far away, aboard the Empress's warship, Two assassins stood on a glowing platform. One was injured, the other untouched. The Empress walked down the long stairs. Her dress was like liquid gold. Her eyes burned like suns. "You failed," she said. The healthy assassin knelt. "The Queen lives. The human fights like nothing we've seen." The Empress tilted her head. "So, he is special." She waved her hand. The injured assassin screamed as energy crackled through his body, turning him to dust. The Empress stepped closer to the other. "You will go again, but this time, not to kill." The assassin raised his eyes. "Then what is the mission?" She smiled coldly. "Bring me the Queen. Break the human." Back at the palace, the Queen stood in the war room with Riker and her commanders. Holograms showed images of other alien worlds, some watching, some planning, some silent. Riker pointed to one, the world of Queen Zira, ruler of the fire planets. "She hasn't said anything," he said. "That means she's waiting, watching." The Queen nodded. "If Zero joins the Empress, we lose half the galaxy." Riker turned. "Then we strike first." The Queen frowned. "We can't go to war." "Not yet." Riker looked at her. "Then we need allies. Ones who still believe in the law." The Queen walked to the edge of the map. A blinking dot glowed near the edge of the system. "A neutral system," she said. "Old, small, and ignored, but powerful in tradition. If we go there and speak before the Council, they might rule in our favor." Riker finished. She nodded. "Or they might kill us both." Later, in the palace garden, the Queen sat alone. Riker joined her. The stars above were clearer now, closer, as if they were listening. "I used to believe strength was everything," she said. Riker sat beside her. "And now?" She looked at him. "Now, I think strength means knowing when not to use it." He didn't speak, just nodded. After a pause, she asked, "Why do humans keep fighting, even when the odds are low?" He looked up at the stars. "Because we believe there's always one more move." She smiled softly. But far away, in the shadows, a new blade was being forged. One made not of metal, but memory. A weapon the human couldn't see coming, because this time, the assassin would come wearing a familiar face. The palace felt different, not because of the guards, not because of the new defense systems. It was something deeper. Whispers had started to grow. Quiet footsteps in the halls, glances between servants, secrets behind closed doors. And at the center of it all were the maids. They were supposed to be silent, trained to obey. Invisible shadows behind the Queen. But now, everything had changed. Their Queen had been claimed by law. Their palace had been shaken by assassins, and their new master was a human. In the quiet of the lower chambers, 5 maids gathered. In secret, they wore their silver robes. Their heads were lowered, but their voices were strong. "Sorry." The Queen's head maid stood at the center. She looked at the others. "We must decide now." One maid older, sharper, crossed her arms. "Decide what?" "Whether we follow him," Sari said, "or fight him." Another spoke, her voice trembling. "He hasn't hurt us. He saved the Queen's life. But he owns us," the older one said. "By law." Sari's eyes narrowed. "He doesn't act like an owner. He acts like a soldier." They all went quiet. Then Leary, the youngest, stepped forward. She looked afraid, but spoke clearly. Maybe. He's not here to take power. Maybe he's here to give it back. Above them, in the strategy chamber, Riker stood at the map table. Dozens of glowing planets spun slowly before him. The Queen watched him from a distance. "You think like a general," she said. Riker didn't look up. "I am a general." She stepped closer. "But this isn't your war." He looked at her now. "It is, because I'm already in it." She studied his face. "You could have taken control, forced me to serve you, but you didn't." "I don't want a servant," he said. "I want a partner." That word partner meant more than she expected. That night, the maids met again. This time, they weren't whispering, they were planning. "We know the palace better than any general," Sari said. "We know its paths, its secrets, and its history." She placed an old device on the table. It lit up, showing a map older than the Queen herself. "Under the palace is something ancient," Sari explained. "A hidden vault. It was built during the First Rule, never used." The older maid frowned. "Why tell him about it?" Lyri answered, her voice strong. "Because the Empress is coming. And if we don't stand with the human, we fall with the Queen." The next morning, Riker walked into the throne hall. The Queen was waiting. So were the maids. All of them. He raised an eyebrow. "Meeting I wasn't invited to." Sari stepped forward. "We want to help." Riker looked at the Queen. She gave a slow nod. "They came to me first." Lyri spoke next. "We know the old ways. The things even royal books forget." She handed Riker a scroll made of starlight threads. "Beneath the palace is a vault, with a keyhole shaped like the one you carry." Riker pulled out the crystal key the Queen had given him in part. 3. Perfect fit. They went deep underground. Stone halls gave way to metal. Metal gave way to energy fields. Finally, after hours of walking, they reached a locked gate. No guards, no lights, just silence. Riker placed the key into the glowing panel. Click, the door slid open. Inside was not a weapon, it was a ship, small, black, sleek, human-like in design, but built from alien tech. Sari gasped. "It's a ghost flyer." Lyri's eyes widened. "A warship that doesn't show on sensors." The Queen stepped forward. "My great-grandmother had it built during the last star conflict, but no one could ever power it." Riker walked slowly toward it. The ship lit up, soft blue light rising as it sensed him. A voice echoed from the ship. "Command signature, human DNA confirmed. Welcome, Lord Commander." Everyone turned to Riker. Even the Queen looked stunned. "How?" she whispered. Riker stared at the ship. "Looks like your ancestors knew we'd come." Later that evening, the Queen and Riker stood on a balcony, overlooking the stars. Below, the palace was alive with energy again. The maids were organizing supplies. Engineers were activating old machines. The ghost flyer was being prepped. The Queen looked at Riker. "You've done what no one else could. You've made them hope." He shook his head. "I didn't do anything. They just needed a reason." She smiled softly. "And you gave them one." Then her face turned serious. "Tomorrow, we speak before the Neutral Council. If they support us, we might unite the old systems. If they don't," Riker finished for her, "then the Empress comes with fire, far away." On the cold moon of Varthex, Empress Jura walked through her army. Millions of soldiers stood at attention. She raised her golden blade. "The law made him strong. I will make him broken." A commander approached. "Your orders?" "Begin the purge," she said. "Every queen who bends to the human will burn with him." The council hall stood on a floating rock between Stars, it was old. Older than any queen. Older than the Empress. 12 glowing chairs formed a ring. Each chair held a different ruler. Some alien, some half-machine. All-powerful dot in the center stood Queen Vale, and beside her, Commander Riker the human, who had become legend in just a few cycles. They had come to ask for peace, but war had followed them. One of the council lords, tall silver being named Orin, spoke first. His voice was deep and slow. "You come with law on your side," he said to Riker. "But the law is not our shield. It is our memory." Another voice, sharp and female, came next. Queen Zira of the Fire Planets leaned forward. Her eyes were burning red. This human took a throne with a blade. Now he wants more. Riker stepped forward, calm and firm. "I never asked for a throne. I asked for peace." Zira laughed. "Then why did you take our queen?" He looked her in the eyes. "I didn't take her. I fought. I won. Your law decided what came next, not me." The room went silent. Even the queen beside him gave a slight nod. Suddenly, the council doors flew open. Golden-armored soldiers marched in, and behind them, Empress Sura. She wore black and gold. Her face was cold and beautiful, like carved ice. Her eyes looked through Riker as if he were nothing. "You waste time on insects," she said to the council. "He is not here for peace. He is here for power." Orin stood. "This is a neutral ground." Sura raised her hand. Her guards drew their weapons. "I make the ground," she said, "and I break it. I challenge your Riker. I challenge your right. My champion will fight in your name, and if he wins, the law resets. The queen is free. The human loses all claim." The council whispered. This hadn't happened in centuries. Riker stepped forward. "And if I win?" Tizra smiled coldly. "Then I kneel." The council made space. The arena formed in the center, shaped by gravity. Fields from Tezora's ship came her championa, giant of a creature, 10 feet tall, skin like silver armor. 4 arms, no face, just a glowing mask. His name was Craven. He had never spoken, never lost. He didn't need to. Riker stepped into the circle. He had no armor, just his blade and his breath. The queen watched with tight fists. She whispered to Sari, "He's never fought something like that." Sari replied, "But that thing's never fought a human." The battle began. Craven charged, fast and heavy. Riker dodged. 1, 2, 3 strikes missed by inches. Then, boom. Craven punched the floor, sending shockwaves. Riker was thrown back, but he rolled, stood, and smiled. "You hit like a planet," he said. Craven didn't speak. He charged again. This time, Riker ran toward. He-Man slid between his legs. He sliced, upward cutting into the champion's lower back. Sparks flew. Craven turned. Angry now, 2 arms grabbed Riker. The other 2 punched. Crack. Riker hit the wall hard. Blood from his mouth. His leg twisted. He coughed, stood, and limped back into the fight. The queen stepped forward. "End it. You've proved your point." "But—" Riker raised one hand. "Not yet." Craven lunged for the final blow. Riker waited, then ducked. Grabbed a small device from his belt, a mini pulse mine. He slammed it onto Craven's chest and rolled away. Boom. The explosion threw Craven across the arena. His armor shattered. His mask cracked. Riker walked over, breathing hard. Blade in hand, Craven tried to stand. Riker held the blade to his throat, then lowered it. "I'm not here to kill champions," he said. "I'm here to stop needing them." Craven dropped his head. The council was silent. The Empress stood, her face unreadable. Then, slowly, she knelt. "I gave my word," she said. Gasps filled the hall, one by one. The other rulers stood. Orin spoke. "The council sees this battle. The law is clear. The human is now not just a victor, but a voice." Riker turned to Queen Vale. "I don't want to rule, but I won't run either." She stepped beside him. "Then you'll walk with us," she said. Later, as the halls emptied, Sarah walked past Riker. She paused. Her voice was low. "You made me kneel today. But the galaxy doesn't kneel for long." Riker met her gaze. "Neither do humans." She smiled slightly. "Then we'll see who stays standing in the end." Back on the palace world, ... The Ghost Flyer ship was ready. Maids, now dressed as commanders. Loaded supplies. Young soldiers trained under human instructors. Alien tech mixed with human warcraft. A new alliance was forming. A strange one, but a strong one. Riker looked at the stars. He knew what was coming. Not just another battle. A choice between order and freedom. Between war and something bigger. The Queen stepped beside him. "You don't talk much after victories," she said. He smirked. "I'm already thinking about the next one." She laughed, but far in the dark. Something ancient awoke. Not Empress, not Queen. Something forgotten. Something older than law, and it had just heard the name Riker for the first time. The galaxy was watching. In just 7 solar cycles, a human had done the impossible. He defeated a royal champion, claimed a queen, survived assassins, faced the Empress in front of the council, and made her kneel. Now Commander Riker had become more than a soldier. He was a name, a symbol. To some, he was hope. To others, a threat. On the palace world, change was in the air. Flags no longer showed only the Queen's crest. A new mark had been added to crossed blades behind a star. The human sign. Maidens trained beside soldiers. Guards followed new command signals, learned Earth tactics, and carried mixed alien-human gear. But not everyone was happy. In the shadows of power, resistance formed. Riker stood on a high platform as hundreds gathered below. Citizens, fighters, counselors, even former enemies. He didn't give long speeches. He didn't need to. He simply said, "We don't rule each other anymore. We protect each other now. Together, we survive." The crowd didn't cheer loudly. They stood in stunned silence, because it was the first time in generations someone had offered unity without control. Inside the throne room, Queen Vale watched him from above. Beside her stood the newly formed High Alliance Guard, made of different species chosen not by blood, but by loyalty. One of the old noble lords whispered, "Your throne grows weaker." She looked at him and smiled. "No," she said. "It grows taller. He's not taking my place. He's standing with me." That night, Riker walked the palace alone. Not as a king, not as a master, just a man with a heavy mind. He entered the archive room, the place where all history was stored. Rows of glowing tablets lined the walls. He searched the ancient records. Wars, laws, betrayals, victories, and one old file stood out. Origin Beacon, Project Black Root, Human Contact, First Generation. He opened it. Inside were logs, photos, records. This palace was visited once before, by humans. Not soldiers, not rulers, but builders, scientists, dreamers. They came in peace. They were forgotten. Riker stared at their faces. Some looked like him. "We were always here," he whispered. They just didn't remember. At sunrise, Queen Vale met him in the garden. "I heard you stayed up all night." Riker nodded. "I found something." He told her about the project. The old beacon. the forgotten humans. She listened carefully. Maybe that's why you were able to unlock the ancient ship, she said. Maybe this was always your path. Riker didn't smile. Or maybe, he said, this is just the start. Far above, the stars, hidden behind a nebula cloud. A dark ship drifted without signal. Inside, ancient machines blinked. A voice spoke. Command level breach detected. Human protocol identified. Another voice, older and broken, awaken. The warden. A giant figure opened its eyes, half machine, half something else. Target. Earth origin male. Status. Ascending power. Risk level. Maximum. The ancient ones had slept through empires. But now, Riker's rise had woken them up, back in the palace. Riker sat with the Queen and her closest commanders. We can't win a war across galaxies. One said. We won't, Riker replied. But we can win allies. He pointed to a screen showing distant systems. We don't need armies. We need voices. Leary, the youngest maid, now dressed in battle uniform, raised her hand. Then let me go, she said. Let me speak for you. Riker looked at her, surprised. Why? She smiled. Because once I was just a maid. Now I'm something more. People will listen. Riker nodded. The movement had grown bigger than him, and now others were rising too. In the following weeks, small systems joined the new alliance. Forgotten. Colonies pledged loyalty. Old rulers sent secret messages. And for the first time in many years, the word peace was louder than power. Riker stood on the balcony one evening, overlooking the city as lights blinked across towers. Queen Vale joined him. You could leave now, she said. Take a ship. Go home. Riker was silent for a moment. I don't think I have a home anymore, he said. She looked at him. Then, build one here. He turned to her, eyes serious. Not just here, everywhere, and far beyond them. In the darkness between stars. The ancient Warden fleet activated dot machines older than time. Rulers before rulers. Their goal was clear. No humans shall ever rule again. But this time, the galaxy would fight with the humans. Final Cianassery. Walk through the palace halls at night. She passed portraits of past queens cold. Still proud. She stopped before a new painting. It showed Riker and Queen Vale side by side. Not king and queen. Not master and servant, but equals. She smiled, then whispered, Long live the Lord who never asked for power, and earned it anyway.